fellow demigods, monsters, and gods alike. You're here at the Olympus Report. Sometimes things don't always happen the way we plan. And in this case, that's actually better. Here's my top 5 non-lethal sacrifices. Number 5, Bast. Bast quickly won the hearts and trust of Carter and Sadie, and of the readers as well. Without Bast, Carter and Sadie would have been hopelessly lost and probably dead. Something you rarely see in the Riordanverse is a god sacrificing themselves for a mortal, but that's exactly what Bast did for Carter and Sadie. Bast was able to hold back Sobek long enough for Carter and Sadie to escape, but because of this, she was permanently forced into the Duat and unable to return to the land of the living. But thankfully, permanent wasn't too long. As a thank you gift from the other gods to Carter and Sadie for defeating Set, they brought Bast back. Literally, thank the gods. Number 4, Leo Valdez. To storm or fire, the world must fall. Meaning someone had to die in order to defeat Gaia, and Leo was going to make sure it was fire. In other words, himself. Leo, the brilliant demigod that he is, single-handedly brought down Gaia in a fiery explosion and saved the world. Leo was also caught in this fiery explosion, however. But thanks to the physician's cure that he obtained from Asclepius and gave to Festus to administer upon point of death, he was brought back to life. Leo comes in at 4 because he knew this sacrifice wasn't going to be permanent. He knew he was coming back. Well, at least he was pretty sure he was coming back. It still took some serious guts to pull off what he did. Number 3, Frank Zhang. Frank is without a doubt a true Roman. He puts his friends and legions above everything else and himself. See, Frank's life force is tied to a piece of firewood. If this firewood burns up, so does Frank's life. And throughout the Heroes of Olympus, Frank really struggles with this and lives in fear of the firewood burning up. But by the time we catch up with him in the trials of Apollo, he's learned to accept this fact about him and really embrace it. Frank at this point understands that death is a part of life and is willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to protect the Legion and bring down one of the 3 emperors of the Triumvirative. Frank uses his firewood essentially as a match to ignite all the explosives around him and blow up the tunnel with himself and Caligula inside. Miraculously though, Frank survives, even though his firewood didn't. It's never really explained why, but I'm sure glad he's okay. Number 2, Hazel Levesque. Hazel Levesque is without a doubt another true Roman who isn't afraid of death. Hazel was actually born in the 1920s and was early on targeted by Gaia and was forced to move to Alaska and raise the giant Alcinius from the death. But at the last moment, Hazel stands up to Gaia and says, "No, I'm not going along with your plans anymore." And she collapses the tunnel in on herself and Alcinius. This delays Gaia from waking for decades, but Hazel actually dies in the collapse. But thankfully, in current times, when Gaia opens the doors of death, Hazel's half-brother, Nico D'Angelo, is able to find her spirit and bring her back to the world of the living. And thank the gods, because without Hazel, the other 6 demigods of the prophecy would have been hopelessly lost. Number 1, Thalia Grace. Probably one of the most famous and well-known sacrifices in the Riordanverse. Thalia heroically sacrificed herself to a horde of monsters so Annabeth, Luke, and Grover could make it safely to camp. To honor her noble sacrifice, her father Zeus made her into a pine tree where it stood tall over camp and protected the camp for many years. Until the Golden Fleece and its intense healing abilities brought her back to life. Thalia's sacrifice was so key to so many moments and how everything played out. But I'm just glad it wasn't permanent because, spoiler alert, one Grace family death was enough. These noble demigods were ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for the good of others, but I'm just glad they didn't actually have to. What did you think about these sacrifices, and did they have you on the edge of your seat? Let me know down in the comments below. But for this week, that's all I have for you, Half-Blood, so I'll be signing off. And please, always remember to stay safe. We don't need any more sacrifices.